I'm a registered psychotherapist practicing in Ontario, and today I want to share some tips and ask you some questions that might help you to stop or procrastinating or to decrease procrastination. If you are here, you probably have some times when you don't feel like doing things, and even if you know that you can cope, and even if you know that you are capable of doing it, you might be postponing some things or tasks that are important for you. And today we are going to discuss why this is happening, what's holding you back, and which strategies you can use in order to overcome it and to move forward towards your goals. One of the reasons of procrastination can be emotional avoidance. When we feel scared or anxious, when we want to do things perfectly, or when we're afraid that we might fail, we might postpone things and choose pleasure instead of trying harder things. So emotional avoidance can be one of the reasons why we procrastinate. Maybe you would remember a movie called Yes Man, where Carl, the main character, maybe you have watched the movie Yes Man, where the main character, Carl, used to say no to everything, and he didn't want to try anything new. As a result, he felt stuck, he felt lonely, and as a result of attending a motivational meeting, he started to change his life, and he started doing small things and telling yes. As a result, he found that his life was changed completely. He achieved the growth, he found new people, new connections. So this film actually illustrates that when we feel scared, when we feel anxious, it's quite common for us to avoid things, but at the end of the day, this might not be useful for us, and we might find ourselves living very narrow lives. And therefore, it's important to be aware of feelings and to start taking action towards things that matter for us. And when we become aware of our thoughts and feelings, it would be easier to stop procrastinating. So, as Carl also experienced in this movie, when we start acting despite fear, despite anxiety, we would discover that it's not as dangerous as we thought, or things are not as scary as we thought, and as a result we can change our lives and find ourselves enjoying life more. So when we look at neurobiological perspective, what's happening with our brains is that when task seems uncertain or very hard, very difficult, or too big, we want to avoid things because our brain doesn't want to spend so much energy, and we want fast dopamine, which can be achieved by scrolling or watching a movie or eating a snack. However, things that need much effort or much time do not give us fast dopamine. Therefore, it seems more difficult for the brain to consume all this information. So it's easier to procrastinate or to avoid and to achieve an immediate reward doing different things in order to get dopamine. And by the time our brains get used to it, it becomes as a kind of habit, and it gets more difficult to break the habit. Another reason might be is that when a task feels overwhelming, or when you feel anxious, or when you are afraid to fail, the part of region called amygdala is activated. As a result of which, you might feel anxious, you might feel scared, and you might want immediate action, which can be in the form of avoiding a task to feel better, to feel safer. So as a result, you will find yourself avoiding things that make you scared or make you anxious. And further consequence of it is that prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for planning, focusing, making decisions, concentrating, also get hijacked by amygdala. When you feel scared, when you feel anxious, this has impact on prefrontal cortex. As a result of it, it gets more difficult to do things that you want to do, and this also might cause further avoidance. And as you are avoiding more, this prefrontal cortex also impacted. So the more you procrastinate, the most difficult it gets to stop procrastinating. So if we apply these planning strategies towards the change that we want to achieve, it will be important for you to describe the change that you want to see within you. What kind of change you want to see? If you were not procrastinating, what you would like to do instead? And as a result of listening to this session, what kind of changes you would like to see in yourself? For instance, how you would like to think, how you would like to respond to your feelings or challenging thoughts at the time when the urge comes to procrastinate. What would let you know that you are capable of doing it, and how you would notice that you have already stopped procrastinating? What would other people notice about you when you are not procrastinating? What you would like to do instead? What kind of activities you would like to include into your life? And these kind of questions can help to widen your perspective and to understand what kind of changes you want to see within you. And once you write down answers to these questions, it will be easier for you to achieve those goals. So some other useful questions are: when you will not be procrastinating, what version of you would like to see? And what would let you know that this version is capable of not procrastinating? And what would you feel about yourself, and what would other people notice about your habits, how your what you include into your day, and about your routines? What would be different, and what kind of difference it can create in other people's lives, and how this can change your life if you stopped procrastinating? Was there a time when you had anxiety or fears or felt an urge to procrastinate, but you somehow were able to get into action? And what was different during those times? What helped you to overcome these challenges? Which of your skills did you use to do it? And if there was somebody whom you value observed you at that moment, what would they tell about you that you did differently? And what they might tell you, which of your skills or strategies you used when you were able to take action and when you were able to complete what you have planned. And if this anxiety has gone, what would let you know that you are capable of completing your tasks? And what kind of activities you would like to engage if you didn't have this urge to procrastinate? And whom you would meet, what kind of social connections you would like to have, and how you would make progress, and what would let you know that you are moving towards your plans and towards your goals, how you would notice that you are achieving your goals. And if you go back to that very moment when you are procrastinating or avoiding things, you would remember that you might have different thoughts which are encouraging you to procrastinate. For instance, maybe your mind is telling you that you can do it later, or this task is too difficult, or that you can't do it. And now you can notice that these are just thoughts, but imagine that if there was a paper, if these thoughts were written on a paper, and try putting them in front of your eyes and walking for some time like this. And do you think it will be comfortable to focus on things, or to stop procrastinating, or to do some useful things? You would find it very uncomfortable, and it will be difficult to keep your attention on things that are happening around, or to do anything that's meaningful for you. In the same manner, when we got stuck with thoughts, when we got fused with thoughts, we start to see them as literal truths, and we believe in them, and our behavior can be shaped as a result of these thoughts, and our feelings also can be shaped as a result of these thoughts. That's why noticing and working with thoughts can be also a useful and powerful tool in order to understand yourself and to move forward towards your goals. And as we discussed earlier, sometimes we are avoiding things because we don't want to face different feelings, or we don't want to feel discomfort. So imagine at that very point when you are about to decide whether to complete the task, to continue with the task, or to procrastinate it, what kind of feelings you have. What are you trying to avoid? For instance, imagine if an anxiety come up with you. So Generally, we wait for the feelings to disappear or to decrease in order to start action. But this might not be very useful for us, because if we start to procrastinate each time when we have these feelings, we will find ourselves far away from what we want to do, and we might feel ourselves stuck. So imagine if this anxiety or your fears were inside of a bag, and this bag was like next to you. Is there a way of carrying this bag and still doing what you need? And when you imagine it as a backpack or a pack, you would better realize that these are just feelings, and we don't need to feel scared of these feelings. We don't need to feel anxious about these feelings, and we don't need for these feelings to disappear in order to start doing what's important. And when we see these feelings from outside, and we imagine them like this, it will be easier for you to start your tasks. So you can use this strategy also each time when you feel anxious or overwhelmed, and try to put those feelings into the backpack and to carry it with you wherever you want to go with them. Because at that very point, it seems for us that things are impossible, or our mind can tell us different stories that are not close to reality. It can say that you are not capable of doing it and it's impossible, but you can remind yourself about your past successes. For instance, were there any times when you were feeling scared and anxious, but you were able to complete your tasks? And what was different about those times? And if these strategies that you used and skills that you used were present right now when you are trying to decide and overcome procrastination, what difference it can create? So when we think about past successes and past strengths, we realize that things that we want are not as far away or not unachievable as we thought. So shortly we can outline it as if the emotions and thoughts are some passengers, but you are the driver of your vehicle. So you don't have to listen to everything that the passengers are saying. If you know the road, if you know where you want to go, it's still possible to thank other passengers for caring for you, for telling their opinion, and to still continue to go wherever you want to go. Please feel free to ask any questions, or share your own strategies, how you are coping with procrastination, what you found helpful, and I would be glad to answer and to help you. And another consequence of it is that prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for planning, focusing, concentration, decision making, also gets impacted negatively when amygdala is activated. And as a result of it, it gets more difficult to make decisions, to concentrate, and decision-making, concentration challenges arise as a result of response to stress. So it also impacts avoidance and increases avoidance behavior. Therefore, all these factors are interconnected, and when we better understand how it works, it would be easier to make changes, behavioral changes, and to learn to trick our brains and to achieve our goals. The good news is that you can learn new strategies to cope with procrastination, and you can learn new skills to achieve your goals. For instance, one of the strategies is that you can divide your tasks into smaller parts, and as you finish one part, you can celebrate it, which will also help to produce dopamine, and you would feel more motivated for further continuing the task. Or you can unite difficult tasks with things that you enjoy. For instance, you can study in the environments that help you to feel peace, or you can combine things that you enjoy and challenging tasks. For instance, you can drink tea or listen to music while you are studying, and in this manner you will send some signals to your brain that actually you are enjoying it. As a result of it, you won't feel scared, you won't feel anxious, and it would be easier for you to concentrate and to continue without postponing or procrastinating. And also studying for a certain period of time, such as 30-35 minutes, and then giving break and tracking your progress can also help to decrease procrastination. So if you feel anxious whenever you want to start doing something, or you feel the urge to procrastinate, once you understand which feeling you have at that moment, it can be anxiety, fear, feeling scared, you can use some strategies to calm down and to make it easier to accept feelings and to continue to do what's important for you. For instance, breathing exercises, meditation, mindfulness can help to step back, to observe the feelings and thoughts, and to continue with your work. Sometimes if the task is too big and time and energy consuming, you might feel as if you feel bored and you have to do it, and there can be kind of resistance, internal resistance. So what can be done in this situation is that you can reframe this situation and remind yourself why this task was important. So when you will have some thoughts that, such as that this task is boring or not interesting, or you will have the urge to procrastinate, you can simply tell to yourself that it's important for me to complete this task because of my goals, because I want to achieve these goals. Or you can also ask yourself how you might feel once you completed the task and what difference it can create in your life, what changes it can bring to your life, and how it can impact other people. So at this point your mind will shift from anxiety towards other feelings such as joy, peace, or maybe you would feel proud of yourself. So when you will calm down and when these challenging feelings will decrease, it will be easier for you to start doing things and to catch momentum. As we have already discussed, dividing your task into smaller pieces and also writing down, for instance, what do you need in order to complete the task, whom do you need, what kind of environment or objects you will need, what you will need to do. Making more detailed planning also can help to decrease procrastination, because you won't need to make more decisions and it won't require so much effort for your brain. Therefore, writing down your plans, making more detailed plans, and arranging requirements for completing that task can also help to decrease avoidance. So also focusing on one certain task at once and decreasing distractions is also important. For instance, if you are studying, you can switch down your phone, or take your phone to airplane mode so that you will not be distracted. Or if your house is crowded, maybe changing environment, going to different places will help you to focus more. So finding what exactly helps you to focus and what exactly helps you to maintain your concentration, and using adjusting environments can also help to stop procrastinating. Because if you will be in an environment where you are currently interrupted, or your focus is gone, then it will be more difficult to continue and not to avoid the task.